Hey YouTube, today I'm going to be doing another deck profile video. In this one I'm going to be going over my updated Hyakki Vogue deck. So Hyakki Vogue is the limit break old school build of Murakumo. There was another one, there's not Mandalore Lord, but I forgot what the name of it was. It was the one that got a Legion revival, but I never really got the original one, which was a Ride Chain. So I never really built that deck. This was actually the first major, this one and Shiryuki were really the main Murakumo decks that I actually built back in the day. So this one, it's nice to see Hyakki Vogue getting support because he is actually underrated in terms of the Murakumo, more like rogue type decks. I think he's actually really fun. But Murakumo is that really technical, just like Nubatama, they require a lot more thinking and strategizing compared to Kagero. I mean, like, there's strategy in the whole game, but in terms of like the difficulty level, if I had to put it one way, it's like the difficulty level of playing a deck. Murakumo is definitely up there on the difficulty scale. It's much higher, much harder to play effectively compared to, say, Kagero or Narukami. Especially Narukami, those guys where you can pretty much auto mode and blow up the guy's field when you get the cards that can do it. Whereas with this type of deck, you gotta have to really think out your plays. A lot more like Aqua Force or Neo Nectar. It's kind of like you can't really just go all in, or you have to really think about it ahead of time. So definitely a very rewarding deck though when you're able to actually get your plays off successfully. So, and that's true for all the different Murakumo builds. I guess it applies somewhat to Nubatama as well. But for today we're going to be looking at Hyakki Vogue. So for Hyakki Vogue Reverse, Covert Demonic Dragon, Hyakki Vogue Reverse. He's the reverse one. What's weird about this card is there never was a normal Hyakki Vogue until now, actually. So in 2017, this card came out in 2014 in English. In the summer of 2014, I'll never forget, July 14th, whatever, was when BT14 came out. He came out with Minerva and Gansat Zenith and some other stuff. The reversed Maiden of Venus and the the Tempest Bolt Dragon, all that stuff. So that was during like Season 3 Vanguard, so he's a pretty cool card. But he finally got his normal form, or I guess this is him in his normal form. What do you guys think? I mean, this guy has a rear guard and a deck in the deck effect where he's also regarded as Covert Demonic Dragon Hyakki Vogue Reverse. So that's hilarious. Like the normal one is also the reverse one. That's weird. But his Covert Demonic Dragon Hyakki Zora. I guess he's not Hyakki Vogue, or Vogue. I've been probably saying that wrong the whole time. Anyway, Zora is the other one. He doesn't have limit break, so you don't need to run the limit break enabler. If both of them were level before, I'd probably recommend running Yunayuki. But since he's not, you don't really need it. When he's plays on V, you can Soul Blast 2 instead of Counter Blast 2. Search your deck for up to 1 reverse, ride it as stand, shuffle the deck, and then he can countercharge 1, so that's cool. So if you only had like 1 countercharge, but you had 2 damage, you can now use him to clone himself. So it's kind of like Hex Slay Dragon for Raging Form Dragon. So that's pretty nice. So really good backup card for Hyakki Vogue. Next for grade 2s, for Stealth Dragon Oboro Keeper. He came out when, I believe he came out in the Fighters Collection. Yeah, he came out with the first Hyakki Stride. So he's a natural fit in here. He doesn't require any GB1. If you got 2 of him from your rearguard circle, you can put them on the top of the deck in any order. Search your deck for a grade 3. It can be any grade 3. It doesn't have to be the one that's on the Vanguard circle at the time. So you can potentially do this to get out of grade lock on like turn 2 or something. But you do have to have 2 of them. That's the main key. So you're running 4 of them for full optimization. Next, for Stealth Dragon Catan Slayer. He is the new Hyakki support. Yeah, so he's basically your 11k, and he also has the ability when Hyakki is placed in the same row as him. So that could be like if he's over here, and if you clone Hyakki and he goes over here on the other side, and the Vanguard's in the middle. Yeah, you get, or even if you ride him and he's already on the field, you get his effect to go off, where you can put him in the soul, choose cover in the drop zone, put him on the bottom of the deck. So he recycles stuff. And Murakumo, I like that they put things on the bottom because that's kind of what they need to do. They're fixing the problem that they ran into where you would clone stuff, then like they'd be on the deck, on the field, and then like they either stay on the field or they'd go on the bottom of the deck, or they put them, blow them up, and then you would have like a hard time cloning the same stuff that gets effects when it's cloned. So that's why I like this guy in here at 4 copies. The other grade 2 is Grenzen. So he's been around since Hyakki Vogue was new. I mean, Hyakki Vogue Reverse was new. Came out in the same set with him. No reason to really change him, I feel. So I'm just sticking with my 3 of him. So that's the grade 2 lineup. He's really good early game rush. If you have an open counterblast, if you go first. For the grade 1s, 4 perfect guards. I'm just running the original one. Stealth Beast leaves Mirage. You can run whichever one you want. 4 Stealth Dragon, Senryu Raid. He's really cool. Rest this unit. Draw a card. Retard this unit. So Hyakki support. He also has another ability where you can choose a grade 3 or greater and give it 5,000 power. So he can also do some shenanigans with the reverse plays and other stuff. Then 4, I'm just trying to think here. Yeah, 4 of her. Hyakki. She doesn't have GB1, so I figured why not throw her in here. She's technically not specifically a Hyakki support card, but she's okay in here. She's 7k, but she is kind of resource heavy. It's the only thing I don't like about her. And then 2, Stealth Beast Metamorphox. Still running him in here because of the reverse play, where you can, if you remember, like from my old deck profile from way back, with 2 of those, you can potentially do, or even just 1 of him actually. You lock 2 things, get 10 to the front row, then you call 1 of him down, you unlock something, then you lock it and him, and then you, so yeah, 2 of him, so people remember that. He's also actually quite good against Link Joker, surprisingly. It's like a good anti-Link Joker card to just randomly throw around, and it actually works in the deck itself, regardless of whether you're matched up against Link Joker or not. So 2 of him. For the trigger lineup, 4 stand trigger, because stands work really well with him, because he's like all about power columns. So ideally you could run the GB1 stand, but I only have a playset of that, and that's in my Yasui build, so I'm running the next best one that I have, which is basically the Watering Elf clone. Then 4, or I guess 8 criticals, and 4 heals. So standard lineup for this type of deck, I know. I mean, you can run 12 critical. You can totally run like 12 critical in here if you want. Draws also, I guess, are technically also an option in here. But I'm just sticking with this lineup because I like to rush early with Hyakki Vogue Reverse and make the big numbers, because you're not a GB1, you're not a GB2 deck, so the deck should try to rush as much as it can. Then I am trying the new Hyakki starter. I don't really like it all that much so far. I might actually change to a different one, but I don't know. I'll try him out. Nice thing about him is he can help you set up your field, sort of, and because all the grade 3s are Hyakki, he can potentially help you get an extra attack in, is really more what he does. It's the main deck. For the Stride lineup, we're running 2 of the new Hyakki support card, but it's GB2 restricted, so usually this is going to be second Stride. 2 of the original one, this is usually like first Stride, but sometimes I found you may not have the optimal setup for him. So in those cases, sometimes Oni Bibu might be a pretty decent backup as a first Stride. Another pretty good one is the Shirayuki Stride, to just ensure that you can use another, you can clone whatever you need, or I guess the Hyakki thing that you need that time. And then Kagami Jishi. if you can get on those plays where you can attack with Hyakki stuff in the back row. And then, of course, Oboro Raider. He's your restander. Don't really use him too much in this deck. He's usually seen a lot more in the Yasui builds. But he's still a decent card to go into. And then for the G Guardians, I only have the original, like the first one. I don't have the newer one that came out in the technical booster, but I'll probably add that at some point. So yeah, let me know. I guess another thing you could do is you could also run Yasui Goma in here. If you want to do that, or if you have access to this card, he's actually not that hard to obtain. You could take out one of these. In fact, you could also like probably not even run. It depends on your playstyle, but you could probably also like drop those and then just put these four in. So you could do that too. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of my Murakumo deck. I'll be doing a Yasui one in the near future, so stay tuned for that one if you like playing these lesser known decks or less popular decks, because they're not really meta. But it's nice to showcase them because I don't think they get a lot of exposure. So there's a lot of different builds in the game now, so this is just another good example. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.